One that we talked about the other day was cell cams and using those. And everybody has that line. Some people will use cell cams and just so they can stay out of their areas, stay out of their beds, and they don't, use them to figure out, okay, that buck just went in there, so now I'm going to sneak in there tonight because I know he's in there. In a sense, to me, and I've never used cell cams, but for me, I feel like I slowly inch my way towards doing that. Slowly just watching my phone for when that picture comes in, and I go, oh, that buck just went in there. He's probably 50 yards away, so I'm going to sneak in there tonight. I'm going to see him.
Yeah.
And I think that's, for me, I don't feel that's right because it feels like cheating if you can just survey your whole property and see where he goes.
Yeah, it takes the hunting out of the hunting.
Yeah, because a regular trail cam, you get a picture, but you weren't there and you didn't see it come in 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I've heard people say, and I completely agree, it gives you a reason not to go hunting when you have a cell cam because you're like, oh, there's no pictures, and oh gosh, it's going to be 30 degrees in the morning. I'm not going to go. And that's the opposite, complete opposite of what
it should
what
be.
You want to do and what hunting should be. It shouldn't just be surveilling from your couch. I think they have their place, but like you said, I think some people can go overboard with it, and that's just a debate on what's ethical and what's not. And everybody has different standards, but
does it give you too much of an advantage as a hunter?
Yeah.
Like I know we're using high-powered rifles against a deer, but like where do you draw that line between having too much of an advantage?
Yeah, it's kind of...
And giving fair chase is kind of that line. Is it fair chase to be able to just basically watch the deer all day long until he's where you want him to be?
Yeah, I don't... To me, and I think probably to you as well, I don't think it's something we would do when it costs a lot. But two, we don't, just ethically wise, I think we like the aspect of not having it. But
and they have their place, because I know there's people that use them that say, I'm not going to use it to be like, okay, he's in there, so now I'm going to sneak in there. But just using it as a way to stay out of those areas and hunt better.
Yeah, if you have a long distance property in Kansas and you can't go check it or drive, 6 hours to go check it, and you just want to make sure there's deer there.
And people aren't trespassing and that kind of thing.
I don't feel like there's any problem with that. And I know what the cell cam guys are going to say. It's, you guys just mentioned it, you still have to make the shot and you still have to sit in the right tree, which is true. But how much does that cell cam make it so that your proportion of being in the right tree, at least, is way greater than it probably should be?
Yeah, like you kind of go out there, and if you're like, you kind of always say it to yourself, if I only knew where the deer were when you go out. Well, you kind of do now that you have that trail camera that told you 10 minutes ago he just walked in here.
Like the big game hunter games with the red dot. I've always wished the deer had a red dot. I could just see that. Yeah, but it's I don't know, it's just an ethical line. And just depends on your thought process on how you do it. Because if we use trail cameras now, the difference between regular trail cameras and cell cams is that I'm getting information
after the fact.
A day later or after the fact. I'm not, he just walked by the tree at 10 o'clock this morning, now I'm going to go in because he's going to come back. Where you wouldn't have known that unless you were hunting. Mm-hmm. So it's just, like I said, just an ethical
And we mentioned
difference.
Similar to gear, and I guess we're still on gear, but like with the advent of social media and all that, being able to the greed of trying to kill the big buck and then being able to use those trail cameras to post that picture, kind of starts really building on each other and can get people in some bad places.